It is the latest form of identity theft, and now your children's toys can leave you and your kids susceptible. Fox 19 Now tech expert Dave Hatter here to break down the items you should be concerned about. Good morning.
Good morning, Kara.
Hope you had a good Christmas.
I did. Did you?
Wonderful. I didn't get any toys, though.
Yeah, me either.
So we don't have to worry about that, but most people did. And this is a new thing that we have to worry about because our toys are getting more tech savvy.
They are. You know, almost every toy out there now that of any kind of new nature has some kind of internet connectivity, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, speakers, microphones, video cameras. So increasingly, as these things connect to the internet, they're exposing your children to the potential of identity theft. There's an Experience study from 2011 that said identity theft is 35 times more likely for kids because, in many cases, someone can steal a child's identity and then go for a long period of time before it's discovered.
Right. This is why I know you've recommended in the past to make sure you watch your child's information consistently starting at a young age.
Yeah, and as these toys get online as part of the, quote, Internet of Things, you hear people talk about that all the time. A lot of times they're insecure out of the box. You know, security isn't really a forethought when these toys are created. There are search engines like Shodan where people can go try to find these kind of devices. Folks may remember a few years ago there was a hack at VTech, which is a toy company, and the identity of 6 million children was stolen. So bad people know that these kind of toys are increasingly capable. You've also got things like the baby hack monitor a few years ago where there are bad people out there trying to talk to your children using these devices. So as these things converge and toys become more internet capable and can get connected to the internet, there's a lot of additional things you should think about as a parent when you buy these kind of toys.
And one of those is actually registering these toys, which oftentimes you're encouraged to do.
Sure. Of course they want to get your information.
Yeah.
You know, they throw in the warranty thing and all that. But like in the VTech example, 6.4 million children's identities were stolen. So as you register this information and provide information about yourself and your children, that's a ripe target for hackers to steal this information because a lot of times these toy companies, you know, internet security is not necessarily what they're known for. They're known for making toys. So how secure is that information going to be once you've provided it to that company?
Yeah, you said you wouldn't necessarily register
I would provide as little information as possible. And another long-term thing to think about is, so you buy the toy today, let's say there's a known bug in it that gets out there on the internet, hackers and identity thieves want to exploit this. Are the toy companies putting out software updates like the software companies, people like Apple and Google are, to make sure that that toy can stay secure over time? In many cases, that's not going to be the case, so they will become less secure as time goes on. Again, I'm not saying don't buy these things. I'm just saying understand the consequences when you do. Okay,
now shifting over to fitness trackers, which were really big last year and even the year before, but they continue to be a part of most people's everyday life. What are your recommendations as far as making sure your information is secure with those fitness trackers?
Well, you know, these things kind of intersect logically because you have the same kind of issues. You have a device, it's on you, it's collecting information all the time. There's been a bunch of studies on this. For example, the Center for Democracy and Technology had a recent study they put out about concerns with these companies leaking your information, not necessarily on purpose, but they're collecting a lot of information about you. Hackers want to steal this. And then also in the long run, how can this information potentially be used by insurance companies, by the government, by whomever, because, you know, they know whether you're exercising or not. As these devices get more advanced, they can check your heart rate and all kinds of things beyond just how many steps did you walk today. So it's the same kind of thing. I'm not saying they're bad or don't use one, but understand these companies are collecting a lot of information about you. The terms and conditions usually are ridiculous for these devices. Fitbit has, 22 pages of terms and conditions. They change them all the time. You know, who are they selling your information to? What happens if your information goes out of business or they're sold? So again, I'm not saying they're bad or you shouldn't use one. I have one myself, but understand the potential consequences if you get a fitness tracker, and certainly stick to the more reputable companies and understand what you're signing yourself up for.
Yeah, we've always talked about those more reputable companies and apps. Thanks so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Have a happy New Year. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Okay.